Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Hack. Now, last week we discussed some possibilities for the new chapter in ESO coming in 2020. You all left lots of great ideas in the comments for that video. And of course, I've got my own opinions as well, so I'll leave a link for that video in the description if you want to check it out. Also, just in case you missed it, we do now have a confirmed announcement date for the new chapter, which was sent out via the ESO website and through Twitter this week. That new chapter announcement will take place January 16th, which is actually my birthday. The new chapter will be announced at a live event in Las Vegas on the 16th, so if you're local to the area, you might be interested in that. In today's video, I'm not going to focus on the story content or the chapter announcement. Instead, I want to focus on the new systems that we as players want to see next year in the Elder Scrolls Online. So first, let's talk about what's come before in the previous chapters. In 2017, we had probably the first major chapter release, ESO Morrowind, which saw a new class get added to the game for the first time. That class, of course, was the Warden. In 2018, we saw the release of ESO Somerset. Somerset did not release a new class this time around, but instead released new skill lines. First, we had a new crafting skill line, which finally brought jewelry crafting into the game. Then we also had the new Psijic Order guild skill line, which brought its own unique quests, stories, and skills. Fast forward to 2019, this year, where we saw the release of the Elsewhere chapter. This year, instead of new skills, we were given yet another new class, which was the Necromancer. So coming now into 2020, I think we can expect something similar to those new systems that we've seen in the past, and actually I'm hoping that it's something better. ESO will be entering its 6th year of live service in 2020, and I feel like the game really needs to push the envelope at this point to still be relevant, to bring in new players, and to even try to bring back some players who may be taking a break from the game. Whatever it is, I think it needs to be great. Now, there are plenty of theories and options which have been brought up by the ESO community, which I'm going to be discussing here. Keep in mind, this is not a complete list of every possible option. Let me know in the comments section of the video if I missed something, and let us know what you personally want to see added to the game. Also, this is obviously speculation at this point, and we won't have true confirmation until January, so just keep that in mind. Now, moving on to the first system that we might see in 2020, I want to talk about spellcrafting. Spellcrafting as a system is something that I know has been talked about for years in ESO, but I think there are some compelling reasons why 2020 might just be the year. One of those reasons has to do with the possible backstory involving Skyrim and the College of Winterhold. According to the Elder Scrolls Wiki, the College of Winterhold is a school of magic located in the northern cliffs of Winterhold in the province of Skyrim. The school is known to be the center of magicka study in Skyrim, and it was created by Archmage Shalador. Now, in the last video, we talked quite a bit about Skyrim being possibly the new chapter in ESO, at least in my opinion. Now, if Skyrim does end up being the new chapter's location, it would make sense to tie in some of the more notable areas like Winterhold with new quests and even new skill lines for the chapter, and one of those skill lines could be spellcrafting. As we've seen, the College of Winterhold is known to be a center of magicka study in Skyrim and probably in all of Tamriel. Think back to the Somerset chapter, which had both the Psijic Order skill line and the jewelry crafting skill line, based on the location and some of the story content for that chapter. If we are really going to Skyrim, we might see the College of Winterhold, and spellcrafting definitely is a possibility with that location. Now, an interesting question is, would spellcrafting be a guild skill line, or would it actually be a crafting skill? I don't know, but it's an interesting idea to consider. Now, in terms of the game's core mechanics, again, I don't know how they would pull off something like spellcrafting and make it work in ESO, especially in an online game with PvP. The balance there is going to be the difficult thing, but I also think if we're ever going to see spellcrafting in the game, next year is the most likely time to see it, not just because of the story content, but also with some of the recent skill balance changes and skill audits that we saw all throughout 2019. You know, this year we've seen massive, just sweeping changes to almost every skill in the game, and the goal here was basically to streamline all skills into certain categories. Like, you have your stuns, you have your direct damage, you have damage over time, you have AoE, with similar costs and similar effects in each category, basically streamlining everything. We also know there's now a power budget quote-unquote system in place when it comes to skills in ESO, and the idea is it compares skills to each other to help limit certain skills being more powerful than the rest. Now, I will be the first to admit I did not like many of those changes because it felt like the game was being dumbed down and homogenized in a lot of ways. But what if this was being done as a precursor to spellcrafting in 2020? All of those streamlined changes actually start to make more sense when you think about bringing in spellcrafting as a possibility. Now, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about something else that we might see that we've seen in the past, and that's about a new class coming to ESO in 2020. Again, I think we want to look at the potential region of Skyrim as a major factor when thinking about possible new class being introduced. No, I'm not going to suggest a Dragonborn class. No, just no. We already have the Dragon Knight class, and we just got finished with Year of the Dragon, so no thank you. But stay with me here. What I think makes more sense and could actually be pretty fun as a new class is bards. Yeah, bards. Bards have been in previous Elder Scrolls games as playable classes before, but here's the thing, if the next chapter is Skyrim like we talked about, there's even a stronger connection to the bard as a class. First, just like the College of Winterhold, there's also a bard college located in Skyrim in the City of Solitude. The Minstrels Guild was also established during the Second Era, which ESO takes place in, just like the Mages Guild, just like the Fighters Guild, Thieves Guild, and so on. So the timing is about right. Now, if you're not sure what a bard is, here's the description from the Elder Scrolls Wiki. Intelligent and personable, bards prefer to accomplish tasks with their words first and sword second. They're traveling storytellers, singers, dancers, and performers. They're able to perform many tasks, including but not limited to weapon skills, lockpicking, picking pockets, and magic. Extremely versatile. They carry a wide variety of weapons and are capable of using many types of armor and shields. They are also adept at delivering blows that render the highest level of damage to their opponents. So, is there enough to make a completely new class for ESO from the bard? I think it's definitely possible. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, I think even if we don't have a complete class here, then maybe just a skill line is certainly a good possibility. So far we've talked about new systems, maybe a new class or guild skill line, but what about weapons? New weapon skill lines is something many players have been asking for years, and I think the time is right for something new here. There are weapon types from previous Elder Scrolls games that could make their way into ESO. Some examples of these are crossbows from Elder Scrolls Skyrim, or even spears from earlier games like Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Now, both of those options, crossbows and spears, those would seem to be along the lines of maybe a stamina-based weapon skill, which I think we already have a lot of those in ESO. Most players, I think, want different alternatives for magicka-based characters, and that's why I could also see a one-hand and spell skill line being added to the game at this point. Now, interestingly enough, some of ESO's game art actually has hinted at this for a long time. I mean, check out this promotional image from Somerset 2 years ago, or this image from Battlegrounds. So yeah, I think maybe one-handed spell could happen, or maybe incorporating runes or tomes or something like that would be amazing. If we are going to College of Winterhold, that fits in with the setting. Also, if ZeniMax finally manages to do spellcrafting, maybe this is the skill line that actually lets you cast the spells you are creating in the crafting portion of it. That would be amazing. So I know we've talked about a lot in this video. I just want to give my best guess right now at what I think might be coming next. I don't think the team can do everything I mentioned here, and I certainly don't expect them to. We know they have limited resources, time, and budget, so we have to consider that. That being said, here's my prediction for the new systems coming in 2020. First, look at the last 3 years of chapter releases. They've never done a class in back-to-back years. I think that's just too much work. They need a lot of time to plan and deliver on a new class, and we just had the Necromancer this year. So I think a brand new class is probably the least likely of these possibilities. Could it still happen? Yeah, I just think it's less likely. Instead, what I think we'll see in 2020 will be very similar to what we saw in 2018 with the Somerset chapter. Remember, in Somerset, we had a new crafting system with jewelry crafting, and then we had the new guild skill line with the Psijic Order. So my prediction here, and I know it's a bit optimistic, but like I said, ZeniMax really needs to do something big this year, is I think we'll see some form of spell crafting in 2020. I think it'll be a true crafting skill line with multiple types of spells you can research, even if they're very simple. Then to actually cast those spells, I think we'll see a new magic-based skill line. Like we said, either one-handed spell or something like runes or tomes, and all of this will be introduced through the College of Winterhold. I think we'll also get introduced to the Bard College and the Bard Guild, and we'll see a Bard skill line similar to the Fighters Guild. It seems like bards have a mixture of abilities, so maybe a mix of offensive, defensive, and support skills. So those are my opinions, at least, on the new systems we'll see in 2020. Like I said, it's a lot of speculation. I think there are some hints out there that are pointing in this direction, but we'll have to wait and see. Right now, I'd love to hear your opinion. Do you think I got this right, or do you think maybe something else might be coming in 2020 that's more likely? Let me know in the comments section. As always, if you enjoyed the video today, don't forget to crush that like button, share the video out. I really appreciate it. Hope you all have a great day, and I will see you around in the next video.